Hi, my name is Madi and I'm a Colorado knitter. This is my YouTube channel all about knitting, yarn, and making. Thank you so much for tuning in and I hope you enjoy. You can also find me on Instagram at Colorado Knitter, and on Ravelry I've been trying to do a little bit better about my notes. I'm Colorado 5 Knitter. So you can go check me out there. What I try to do is post finished objects that I talk about on this channel on Instagram. And so what I'm wearing the Navelli tee by Caitlyn Hunter of Boylan Knits. And this is her Ravelry picture. Let me close this. There we go. This Navelli by Caitlyn Hunter. I knit this a while ago and this design was put out into the world a while ago. And I used Foxy Lady from the Farmers Daugher. Foxy Lady is kind of a silk blend, and I feel like it's single ply, but so it was a little different for me to work with, especially years ago when I was kind of new to the sweater and garment making, but it's really pretty. And my color work is here at the bottom. I don't know how much you can see that, but then this paler color is speckled, and then this darker, and then it blends into this. I remember this took me a good chunk of time to finish because I think I messed up on the sleeve pickup and the seaming, so then I just put it in timeout, but then I finally finished, and these sleeves are amazing. They're double, so the inside is a different color. It's a really great pattern. It's very fun to do the color work panel. It is a boat neck, I guess. And then this curled edge is so cute. I find even the material is great. I wouldn't wear it outside today, but it's great inside. I would definitely wear this in the summer. It was kind of wrinkled because it was in my closet folded up, and I gave it less than a minute of steam and the yarn relaxed, and it's a really good one. Foxy Lady is an amazing base, I think. Again, a little challenging to work with in the beginning, but after blocking, it's awesome. Okay. Per usual, I kept stalling on this episode because I wanted to be organized and ready, and it just doesn't happen. So I missed talking to all you guys and hearing some feedback from you, and so I wanted to make sure I don't keep waiting until the perfect moment to record. So I'll peek at my notes that are very few. It definitely has been a while since I podcasted. We had a great Easter week. The boys had spring break. Gabe's girlfriend was able to join us, and then we had a big Easter celebration with extended family. It was awesome. The table was full, and I really love that when everyone is around and family's around. So it's been a really good week, and last week I definitely felt like I was relaxing. It was just nice to sit and knit and let the house get messy and just relax a little bit after the great week we had. Okay, let's see. Oh, I even have a note about getting my car knitting, and I didn't go get it. So it's a sock yarn that's in there, and I did post that on Instagram. Okay, so what I'm wearing is Navelli, which I mentioned. Totally recommend it. What I finished this week were a pair of socks, and these were a test knit for Fox and Folk, which I'll link her Instagram below. And these are fantastic. So let me tell you a little bit about them. As you can see, I blocked it this way, so it's kind of has the seam line in the lace panel. But once I put it on my feet, which I'll do and take a picture of for Instagram, you can see this pretty lace and cable pattern. Super addictive, super easy. I would say that after the first sock up to here, I was like, oh, I got the pattern down, and I'm sure you guys would get it memorized quicker. But for some reason, it took me a bit. up to the foot. But then once I got there, I could easily read my work and no longer look at the chart or the pattern. But the heel is beautiful. It's a heel flap and gusset, and the gusset has this pretty 3-stitch garter edge, which really I feel like made the pickup for the gusset nice and easy and not creating any holes. But these are going to be, I believe, called the Evergreen Tee socks. And I'm hesitant to say when it's released because I keep telling you guys wrong dates for items that have been released or upcoming items to be released. So I think by this coming weekend, but again, just keep an eye out for Fox and Folk. These are going to be the Evergreen Tee socks. Tea like tea you drink. And then, so again, here's the lace. And I used a US 2 and a long tail cast on these with about 5 rows of stockinette to create that roll. And then I moved, and that was with a US 2 needle. Probably because it's garter on the top and the long tail cast on. It did work really well for me. So much that I would do it again on a 60-stitch sock. So this is a 60-stitch sock. And then I moved to a US 1 needle and did 1x1 ribbing, again with 60 stitches on the needle. And I really feel like that helps here, which I'll talk about another sock in a bit. And then you do just the patterning in the front here, and the back is stockinette. But these are fantastic socks. I would definitely knit another pair. People have done beautiful color combinations in the test knit group, which you get to communicate and see via Instagram direct messages. It's an Evergreen Tee sock group that Fox and Folk created. I'm gonna peek and make sure I'm saying her Instagram tag correctly, because I often mix and match the words. Yes, it is. It's Fox and Folk. This is what it looks like. And she already has some beautiful patterns out as well. Okay, I think that's all about that sock. Let me take a peek. And now go straight into another sock. I was going to show you the socks I have in my car right now, but I didn't bring them in. And this is the sock I had in my car last time. And this is another 60 stitch count sock. So casting on 60 stitches versus my normal 64. And this is all in a US 1. And this is the January Woolens and Nosh monthly club sock colors. This one I did differently up top. And I cast on this one with a German twisted cast on. And then I did a 3x1 ribbing at the cuff, which I do like the effect. What I did notice is in this case versus this one, they're both 60 stitches, but I have a hard time getting this sock on. Not so much, I can get it on and off fine, but it doesn't give that much room around that heel for me when I pull it on. Once my socks are on, they're not tight. It's just that pulling it around my heel. And so I think from now on, if I use 60 stitches, I'll cast on with a US 2 and then continue the sock with a US 1. Again, this one was just a US 1 60 stitch cast on. But then I just did a stockinette stitch plain, and I kind of got a little long because I was at soccer games and not ready to turn a heel. But then I used the Shadow Wrap heel by Earth Tones Girl. Her pattern on are, let's see, the ones I follow for vanilla mostly are Socksploration socks. And I follow the heel there and the toe. And so, but they're really fun. Again, this went real long because I was at a game, but it will be cute. These are fantastic. So this is Woolens and Nosh, and it's a BFL nylon mix, I believe 90 BFL and 10% nylon, which I love the feel of the sock. Oh, I actually forgot to tell you this sock. This one is a special yarn that I've been holding off on using. which I kind of mentioned last time. Woo, all my labels went everywhere. It's Autumn and Indigo fibers. A while ago, she had a 3-month club, and this is the August 2021. And this is her Eco Sock in 75% non-superwash merino and 25% nylon. So this one's non-superwash. And then this is superwash BFL. Both feel awesome. This one's a little more drapey because I think this is a little bit heavier fingering weight. Excuse me. And I think the BFL is a little bit of a rounder yarn. This one was more, the ply wasn't as spun as tight. Okay, let's see what we can move on and talk about next. So that was the Woolens and Nosh, and I think in the car that sock is a 64 stitch. So I think unless I cast on using a little bit of that smaller or the bigger needle, I think 64 stitch is best for my vanilla sock. So I have not an FO, unfortunately, because I was cruising along, doing awesome. It's totally done. The collar's folded over. The sleeve, one sleeve is totally done. And then usually my second sleeve's a piece of cake, and I was cruising along, and it's longer than my first one. So this sleeve is longer than my first one, but I'm almost done with Alicia Plummers right now. Cloud Pullover is the name. A test knit for her. It feels so squishy and cozy, and it's not blocked yet. And when I block it, I think the puffs will relax more. So I'm contemplating whether I'm gonna block it or not, because I kind of like the puffs. I love the folded collar. What I used is I used the finish that Petite Knit recommends in her melange pattern. I really love that pullover, and that was probably the best instructions I've come across for the folded neck. So every time I have a folded neck, I just use that pattern and how Petite Knits recommends to do the fold over. Essentially, you knit as long as you want, where you're gonna have the fold over, and at the very beginning of the row, you pick up a stitch from your the neckline where you picked up from to make your ribbed edge. So you'll see it. It's like a little elevated ridge there. And so you pick up a stitch there, you knit it together with the ribbing stitch that you have on the needle, and then you knit one off the ribbing stitch, bind it off, and then you start again. You pick up one from the pickup line, the cast off edge, whatever you want to call it, when you're picking up your ribbing, and then you knit it together and bind off, and then you knit one off the rib and bind off. So you just carry on that way. What I find is it makes it very easy to line up. Sometimes you can see some ribbing collars are kind of slanted like this, but this one is even, and it's folded over even, because it doesn't ever, you don't end up missing where to pick up, because you know that you're always picking up what looks like a purl side. I'm probably going into way too many details about it, but if you take a look at the melange pattern by Petite Knits, she has the instructions there, and I've had great success. Now I've done 3 sweaters with that same fold over neck. Yeah, I really like that. So my plan is to finish this correctly today. I have to lay it out on a big table and look what I did wrong. I was just cruising along probably on that second sleeve and got in a rhythm and then went too far. So hopefully I'll finish that up today. I'm not sure when Alicia Plummer plans to release that, but it's a very fun and fast knit. I used a US 10 needle for the main body and sleeves, and then on the ribbing I used a US 8. The yarn I used for that is the Amano Warmi yarn, which is 70% baby alpaca, 30% merino wool. I used about 5 or 6 of these skeins that I had in my stash for another project that I just never did. So this worked out. And then I'm holding it with silk mohair Isager. And I want to show you the texture because I do feel like this benefits from that mohair. As I kind of mentioned, there's some moments that are a little bit open, if you can see my hand at all, or through that. But the effect of the bubbles or these puffs does create a little bit of airiness in between. So I feel like the fluff of a mohair or a suri helps with that. Alicia Plummer kind of mentioned having some alpaca in it for drape. And that's why I'm not sure how much growth I'll get if I wet block it. This sleeve over here is kind of a bracelet length sleeve at this point, which is what I want because I think over time it will kind of stretch out. So this is the sleeve that's still on the needle and a little bit longer. So we'll have to look at that. Let's see. I lost track of the sleeves. Oh, the really cool part on this cloud puff sweater is I learned Japanese short rows. I had done wrap and turn, which for some reason I have a mental block and I always have to look on Pearl Soho's website for the tutorial on how to do wrap and turns again. And then I've used German short rows, but I've never done Japanese short rows. And so I have to look it up, and I'm very intrigued to know why or the benefit of using each kind. But I can't find them. Like, I have no idea where they are. But they were very cool. I saw on YouTube, that's how I learned how, on YouTube by Roxanne Richardson. But I did see that some of the posts or titles on the YouTube tutorial said that they were, they also called it a stitch marker short row, which if you know Japanese short rows, you'll know that you kind of hang out a stitch marker in place to pull that extra wrap onto the needle the next round. And so I get why they called it the stitch marker short row. I thought they were very fun, very easy once you know how, just like German short rows and wrap and turns. It's just magic of knitting and shaping. I loved it. That was really cool. So that was fun to learn Japanese short rows. The group knitting this, they have a chat on Ravelry and making beautiful some were striped, which I never even thought of. That was genius. Some did like a yoke kind of top where it's one color at the neck and then a little bit of a neutral and then a pop of another color in a different puff. Again, never thought of that. That is genius. So it's really fun to see everybody's knits. Beautiful, beautiful finished objects, and it's a fast sweater because it's on a US 10. Oh, I'm all over the place because my notes are terrible this week. But for this Evergreen Tee sock, I always want to call it Evergreen Tree. Evergreen Tee socks. I did it on a US 9-inch circular needle until the heel flap, but I did that because I tend to like how smooth the transition is with a 9-inch, but it was hard for me to cable without a cable needle. So I did use just a tapestry needle with that bent edge to let myself pick up a stitch, and then I could kind of hang it off the back. And so it was short enough and easy enough that it wasn't cumbersome with a 9-inch circular needle. So I just want to mention that. Let's see what else I have written down. I totally just like jotted things down randomly over the last few weeks, and they're very out of order. Let's see. And I don't know, I never think about this too much, but it's probably because I have a a good amount of stash, and I always have extra sock yarn after I finish a pair of socks, so I don't usually worry that I'm going to run out of the yarn. But for this sock, I use 77 grams of sock yarn. In case you have a ball that you don't know how much you have left, I'm a US Women's 8 foot with a pretty high instep, and I used 77 grams for this pair. And I used it out of 110 gram or skein of yarn. Let's see, does it say that? 110? 100 grams it says. Okay. I said I was going to take a break from test knitting, but I love test knitting. And so I saw, I think it's Briana. Let me look because I don't want to mess that up. Yes, Briana Arlene. And she's a knitwear designer in Colorado. And she was posting that she was trying to find testers for this cute top that she has here. It's just a t-shirt style, Southwest vibe. She said she was inspired by the Southwest, which is very cool. You can see her reel here. But I started it twice. I tried to figure out, sometimes with those patterns, the options are endless as far as colors. So I thought spin cycle would be super cool, which it would be. And some test knitters are using spin cycle, and it just is awesome. And I can't imagine wanting to stop knitting that ever. Some people are using Farmers Daugher's new cotton blend yarn, and that's what Briana Arlene's design was knit with. And I have a good amount of linen quill, and so I wanted to try to use linen quill because I've loved the Alpine Bloom blouse that I made, or sweater or top, in the Pearl Soho linen quill also. So I wanted to use that, and I had a good amount, but I had a hard time figuring out colors that I wanted to use. So I went on Pearl Soho's website, and they have some bundles for blankets or half and half wraps, or their stripe half and half. And so I kind of just looked at some of these bundles, and I loved this one and thought for sure I was going to do that. But then I felt like it was a little too light. And when I say do that, I mean just these three. So I did put those three together at home, and I thought it was a little too pale. Like, I don't know, I love those three colors, but maybe I didn't love those three together. And then I saw this one, and I'll just select the three, because you pick 3 different skeins of yarn. You could do 2, but the design is with 3 colors. So I thought of this one, which I actually started because I thought, oh yeah, I like that. And I'll admit, I don't usually wear green or look that awesome in green, especially this tone of green, but I thought that vibe was very cool. Oh, sorry if I lost you on there. There you go. And then what else did I look at? So then this is what I had started. As I mentioned, I started that green combo, which I love those 3 colors, and I thought it was kind of cool together. But as I went along, I wasn't totally convinced. I kept looking at it like, yeah, it's kind of cool. and then I would be like, oh, it's kind of not what I would wear. And so I changed my mind. So I'll take that off the needle. And I actually kind of want to make, what is it called? Vertices Unite by Stephen West with those 3 colors. Let me see. At least partly those 3 colors. I'll look it up. It's a very popular design. Again, with endless options. So I never know when to say when that's the combo, but it's this one right here. So I did think about a linen quill Vertices Unite, but I started over. I had this guy which is dark denim laying next to the pile of the greens and the gold and the pink. And I had these nearby. Let's see the best way to show you. So this is red Kiln Pearl Soho linen quill, and this one is baked earth. And here is the dark navy. So I thought that kind of looks like pottery and dishes that I remember being around when I grew up in the Southwest. And then again, I'll remind you that linen quill is 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. This one's the dark denim. And so I also started looking online at different sweaters with a Southwest vibe, and I stumbled across this one, which now looking at it, I don't necessarily see this look in mine, but I still like the look of mine, I think. Again, this is a combo and a sweater that's so fun to make so many of because it has just endless possibilities of combinations, and I don't think it would ever look the same. Like it just doesn't. It could be muted colors where they're barely showing. It could be super bright colors. It could be spin cycle. But I think the possibilities are absolutely endless. So I think I'm liking my combination. And right now the pattern is called Mesa Dreams Pullover, but this is what I have going on. And I thought it would be really cute under a denim jacket or just with my jeans, baggy jeans, white pants, white jeans. So this I think I would wear more. I'm happier with the blue by my face. I like that it's a little color work blendy, not a super defined color work pattern. I love the inside. There's my floats. But I did add a little bit of the paler baked earth within the color work of the red Kiln. So the pattern calls for a solid color work panel here and then stripes with a lighter, but I did add a little bit of the lighter in there, again, to give it more the blended watercolor look. I don't know. I don't even know if it's cool, but the pattern is cool and the pattern is addictive and it's well written and so easy to understand, and it's still in testing. And so I think this would be fun in so many combos. But again, these are the two that I had going on. I think I'm going to continue with the blue though, just for the clothes that I tend to wear. But very fun. At this point, I'm done with the increases, so I'll just knit a bit more to get the correct depth for the yoke, and I then will split for the sleeves, and the whole body is also color work, which again, I think this would be super cute with just a yoke also. So many possibilities. Even solid, like I think the cut of the shirt is gonna be very good, especially in this drapey linen quill that I'm confident that I like the feel and the fit. I did use the same needles that I used for Alpine Bloom, which is a US 5 for the non-color work portions, which is very little on this, and a US 6 for the color work. And I like the drape, and I've liked the bloom when I had that on my Alpine Bloom. And let's see, the other thing I wanted to mention was that, I also like linen quill on a 24 stitch gauge. The pattern calls for 23 stitch gauge. So I did go up a size for myself because I don't want it to be fitted. I want it to be kind of loose, and I will do it cropped so that it just hits right. Kind of like where this Navelli hits, just right there, where I don't have to deal with tucking or anything like that. So that's the plan. That's the current test knit. Now I will not say that I ever need a break of test knitting because I just keep doing it and loving it. So let's see. I feel chitter chattery. Let's see. So that was the new test knit Mesa Dream. These colors here are Juniper green, raw sienna, which you can see here. Raw sienna and peony pink. See how pretty they are together? They're really pretty. This wasn't the combo for it. This wasn't the shirt for it. But I'm very excited to be knitting all the time. I think about that a lot, that I seriously could knit all day. So the weather's been nicer. We only have a few patches of snow, which our St. Bernard Moose loves to get the little zoomies on the little patch of snow because he doesn't want to leave the snow. But it's been nice weather. I think we'll still get another snowstorm or two, but I hope everyone out there is doing well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.